Hey, what's happening, everyone? Steve Taylor here with another episode of Rocket MSP. Today I'm joined by Nick Wolf, Evo Security. How's it going, man?
Going great. Thanks for having me, Steve. Appreciate it.
Oh, I'm happy to have you, man. I love talking with vendors about just everything. I'm a nerd, man. I love learning about all the cool new apps and everything that's going on, but I got a complaint, and you can't even help me.
Oh
So
boy.
I used to be very like anal, right? And I'd say I only want to do these on like Wednesdays at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then it was like every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, my neighbor's out doing some kind of yard work, making all kinds of noise. So I'm like, screw it. I'll just let these people pick whenever they want to do it. So now it's Tuesday, it's 12:30, and my damn neighbor's out there doing yard work. So I just can't win. Hopefully you don't hear it. Hopefully it's not a huge distraction for people with this guy, doing some trimming around the house. So, Nick, you sent me. I'll be honest. You sent me a big long list of topics that you said would be cool, and honestly, I'm gonna see if I can hit all of them
All right, let's
because
do it.
this was some good stuff, man. So you have been in the channel for quite some time. Evo Security, not your first rodeo. Tell us a brief history of you.
Yeah, sure thing. So my experience started in the channel back during the very early days of Datto, which is a backup vendor. So I started there as their 20th employee. I knew the founder and CEO, Austin McCord, in high school. So got to learn a lot of aspects of the channel, working with MSPs, working very closely with Rob Bray during my time at Datto. And by the time I exited Datto, we were about at 2,000 employees and over 10,000 MSP partners. So had a really great experience working with MSPs of all shapes and sizes, going to trade shows, going to events, working with MSPs on building their revenue by reselling Datto's backup solutions at the time, and it was an absolutely fantastic journey. After Datto was acquired by private equity, I then went to a company called Scout Cybersecurity. They were an XDR SOC as a service vendor, and I basically followed the Datto playbook there with some colleagues from Datto. We sold XDR and SOC services to managed service providers. I started there when there was only about 10 or so MSPs utilizing the platform, and I exited that business after we sold it to Barracuda Networks during the summer of July 2021. And around that time, we had around 300 or so MSPs using us. So very high adoption. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I just love working with vendors that are 100% channel only focused for managed service providers. I work with them on building their MSP partner program and the amount of MSPs that are utilizing their service. And that's really what attracted me to Evo Security. And that's what I'm looking to do over here.
Awesome. So I've got to give you a hard time, man, because that's what I do, right? If you've watched this before, you know I give everyone a hard time. So you've helped. I'm taking this as you have been instrumental in helping these other companies grow. And I'm not saying you're the only person that could have done it, but you were a key player, right? So with you being a key player in these other companies, why does your blurry background look like you are in your childhood bedroom at your mom's house?
Very, very funny. So we're actually building a house right now. So, and our lease on our apartment expired. So I'm in the process of I'm in one door and out another door right now. So yeah, good eye.
So you may actually be in your childhood bedroom at your mom's house. Got it.
That might be accurate. Yes, I cannot confirm nor deny. I might be in the Bat Cave. Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows? So, coming from an MSP who has gone through one M&A, I'm looking to go through another here in the next few months. But my stuff's been tiny, you know. So you've worked on some large projects, right? You know, Datto. You say it was a backup company, but look at what Datto is now. Datto is this huge MSP conglomerate, and they are almost a one-stop shop for everything an MSP needs. So, with you being one of the first, 15 or whatever employees at Datto, what does an exit for somebody like you look like? You had like stock and all that stuff, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay,
I had both stock at both Datto and at Scout. I'm a work hard, play hard type of guy, so yes, we had some successful exits there. But at the end of the day, when I come to work, both at Datto and at Scout and at Evo, for me, it's not work. It's my job. It's my passion. I love what I do, so I don't really consider it work. I consider it fun because I
sure.
get to engage with MSPs and help MSPs make revenue by selling some pretty awesome products while also bringing value to their end user customers. So yeah, it's been a fantastic experience.
Good for you. And now, you said you went to high school with Austin McCord. Was he? What was he like in high school? Was he that? You take the glasses off and you do this, and suddenly he's.
Yeah, yeah. So to clarify, Austin and I went to the same high school, but we weren't in like the same class or anything like that. He
Got
was
it.
about 5 years older than me. Austin and I were in the same high school technology club, the Newtown High School Tech Club. So I remember being in high school when I was probably like a sophomore or junior year in high school, and this is probably like 2006 or 2007 when Data was like just getting formed. And Austin comes to the high school tech club, and he brings us all of the very early Data devices to like backup data, and he's like, "Hey kids, try us out. Let us know how it works. We're trying to like build this backup company thing." So I take a device. It was the biggest model at the time. It was huge. It was
Hmm.
250 gigabytes.
Oh
Tons
wow,
of tons of storage back in 2007.
it really
And
was.
and being a high school student, I did what anybody would do. I would use it to back up my LimeWire MP3s. Yeah, I'm that old. Um, so tested it out, kicked the tires with it. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Unplugged it, didn't think about any of it. And then 3 years later, when I'm in college and I need an internship, one of my buddies is actually working at Datto, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm at that company Datto that Austin was talking about, and it's huge. It's like 14 people right now." And my mind was blown. I'm like, "Wow, 14 people? That's a huge business." Little did I know. Little did I know.
That's cool, man. So I think someday I would love to hear more about that, but I want to move on. Like I said, we've got a lot to hit. So with Datto, you guys were acquired by Vista Equity Partners for over $1 billion, and you had over 2,000 employees, and you started, and there were 14 when your buddy was all excited with you, right?
Yep, yep. My very first day, there was like a company all hands meeting, and basically the entire company fit into this like little closet that we utilized as our conference room at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, everybody from build to shipping to everybody was in there, and it's crazy to watch it grow. It was a Cinderella story and a journey of a lifetime. Super fortunate to be a part of it.
And then a company like, by the time you get to the size where you're 2,000 employees, at that point, do you actually have like, I'm gonna call it a performing arts center, because that's, I think of the high school room, right? Like, do you have something like that where you can fit all 2,000 employees in and do an all hands meeting, or do you have to rent something?
So by that point, we had too many office locations around the world.
Oh, that's true.
Many of those locations I was fortunate enough to travel to train the Datto sales team. So I went to the Canada office, the Australia office, the California office to train those teams. Generally, during the all hands meetings, Datto actually built an auditorium in their Norwalk, Connecticut office that was able to house around 300 people. And those all hands meetings ended up being live streamed to the other offices around the globe.
Nice.
So much different from having the entire company in a tiny little closet back in 2011. Yeah.
Very cool. And then Scout Cybersecurity, similar, like you said, same playbook. So you grew that up, and then Scout was acquired by Barracuda for, I think, 150 million.
I don't know the specifics, but yeah, it was definitely up there. Yeah, and Barracuda's doing an excellent job still selling. I think they call it Barracuda XDR now, but yeah,
Sure.
that was a great experience as well. I got to work with a lot of colleagues that I used to work with at Datto, so it was great working around a lot of the same peers that I enjoyed.
And now you're employee number 15 at Evo.
Yes, I
So,
am.
so how do I get some stock at Evo?
Well, shoot me an email if you're an MSP. Become a partner, and share in our success.
Fair, fair. All right, so Evo is small. I'll be honest, I've never heard of it. Well, I might have heard of it, but I don't really know what you guys do. I could have gone to the website and looked, but that would have been too easy. So why don't you fill me in on what Evo Security does?
Yeah, sure thing. So we are a 100% channel only vendor, only working with managed service providers, so built for the channel. And ultimately, we have two products here at Evo Security. The first product is called Evo Secure Login. This is our multi-factor authentication and single sign-on platform that MSPs could resell to their end user customers, especially those customers that need multi-factor authentication in order to qualify for things like cybersecurity insurance. So a lot of revenue is to be made in the channel by reselling MFA and SSO solutions. So that's Evo Secure Login. That's the first product that we sell. The second product that we sell is Evo Elevated Access. This is a privileged access management product that MSPs buy and use internally to protect themselves, to make themselves more secure. Essentially, with Evo Elevated Access, an MSP's technicians can log into their end user devices as an administrator without needing access to the admin credential. They don't have to copy and paste admin passwords anymore from an Excel file or from a documentation tool. Instead, they're able to log in as an admin using the Evo app on their smartphone. As an added layer of security, that admin password gets rotated on an hourly basis. So as an MSP business owner, you never have to worry about one of your techs leaving your business and walking out with the keys to the kingdom, because with Evo Elevated Access, they were never exposed to that admin credential to begin with. And as an added layer of security, that password gets rotated on an hourly basis. So those are really the two products that we sell within our identity and access management platform.
Okay, and the Evo Elevated Access, that is similar to like Auto Elevate, Quick Pass, Threat Locker elevation control.
Absolutely. Yep. We run across those vendors all day long. And look, we understand there's other kids in the sandbox, right? So
Sure.
as an MSP, it's very important to do your due diligence, because I'm sure that there's things Evo does much better than the competition. And to be fair, I'm sure that there's things that they do that are better than us. So very important to do your due diligence when checking out the competition.
All right. So, what would you say? And I'm asking you to be kind of tough on yourselves. What would you say that you do better than some of the other companies, and what would you say that they do better than you?
Yeah, excellent. So I would say that what we do better is our channel strategy approach. So we are 100% channel only for MSPs. That's what we do all day, every day. We live, breathe, and eat MSPs. Whether you're our CEO, our CTO, our engineer, your sales reps, everybody speaks and builds a product and a platform with the MSPs in mind. Whereas some of the other vendors that are out there in the industry handling identity management, they're more enterprise focused. But on the flip side, their product might be a little bit more hardened, a little bit more polished, because they have several years of a head start when compared with us, where we're a little bit newer.
Okay. And would you say that obviously you're getting MSPs to sign up with you that maybe are already with those other companies? What are those MSPs saying about your platform that they like better?
Yeah, so it's definitely the vendor consolidation approach for sure. Because again, there are some vendors that compete with Evo Elevated Access, which is the admin elevation tool, and then there's some vendors out there that compete with Evo Secure login for multi-factor authentication. With us, we're able to check both of those boxes. So instead of having to partner, for example, with Duo for your multi-factor authentication needs and Auto Elevate for your elevation needs, you could partner with us and we're checking off both those boxes for you. So it's all about giving the MSPs vendor consolidation for their identity and access management needs.
And I know you're going to have it's never possible for you to have 100% of your customers happy with you. So what are the biggest frustrations you hear?
Great question. So something that we need to do a better job on, and we are doing a better job on, is building out our RMM and our PSA integrations, because we really want to be as tightly wound up into an MSP stack as possible. So currently we're developing a ConnectWise Automate and ConnectWise RMM script. That way, it's easier to install the agent through those platforms. So we are 100% dedicated to the channel with building out RMM and PSA integrations, not just for the ConnectWise ecosystem, but your Datto, your Kaseya, your Ninja. So we're looking forward to rolling those out over the course of the year. Don't give me an exact time, but that is something that is top of mind for us for sure.
Good. And I know at my MSP, Microsoft SSO is a requirement with any new vendor we bring on. Do you have that?
Yeah, so we integrate with that. Yep, no problem.
Perfect. Cool. Well, I guess that's all. No, I'm kidding. All right, so you guys are channel only. So even if the NSA comes to you and says, we want your software, you're going to say no?
Great. Talk to an MSP.
Okay. And because you are channel only, how does that work? Like, let's say the NSA came to you and said, we want your software. Then you're gonna say go to an MSP, and they're going to find an MSP that is what's that new CMMC, right? Because that's going to be a requirement. How does that work if the MSP has to adhere to CMMC? Does that mean you guys also have to adhere to CMMC?
Yeah, so we do. And there's a lot of aspects to CMMC, and I'm a sales guy. I'm not a
Sure.
CIO or anything like that, but we fulfill a lot of the requirements for CMMC. For example, we are SOC 2 Type 2 certified, so that's one of the requirements for it. Absolutely.
Okay, and then for our clients that are HIPAA, are you in a position where you're being deployed to endpoints, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So you would need to sign a BAA because technically the endpoint has access to the patient data.
Well, we don't actually view any PI, personal and identifiable information or anything like that. It's a very lightweight agent that's basically appears in front of the user prompt when they're trying to log in for that extra layer of MFA. So
Gotcha.
we don't really see any data per se.
And that's where I start to wonder where those lines blur. Like, okay, you sure you're not looking at that data, but you're on the device. And just because you're on the device, maybe you need to adhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just a marketing guy these days, so
I'm just a sales guy. Let's loop in the engineers for that. Yeah. So if you're an MSP listening to this, contact me. I'll loop in someone smarter than me on our demo.
All right. So you might have heard that Duo, Cisco now owns Duo, and they are speaking directly with MSP's clients and saying, hey, you should buy our stuff. So you guys are a great alternative for that. One, because you're channel only, so that means you don't want to talk to our clients. You want to talk to us.
Yep.
But I'll say this. If you're an MSP and you haven't been burned by a vendor trying to go directly to your clients before, then consider yourself lucky. I know some MSPs that they set up, special email accounts and basically operate an end user within the customer environment for the MSP if that makes sense.
No, that does. Yeah.
And that way all customer contact goes to the MSP end user within the customer. Wow, is that some inception? So basically, the MSP is intercepting any customer-facing communications that comes from the MSP partner. Wow, is that confusing?
That's
Even
trying to
myself.
renew. Trying to renew that customer directly and bypass the MSP. Yeah,
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
where you're
So
going with
the
that.
MSP is able to basically intercept all that because the MSP has set up a fake user account within each of their customers that's who their customer end user is. So that way the MSP is still getting all that. So I would say, if you decide you're going to stick with Duo and all these other companies that love to do that to you, I know Cisco is not the only one. Then I encourage you to be smarter with the contact information that you are giving away,
Or partner with a vendor that's 100% channel only.
or partner with a vendor that isn't so shady. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, what what about cybersecurity insurance? Do you guys have any recommendations for companies that are saying, hey, we want to make sure we're getting the best rates for cyber insurance? Obviously, like MFA is one of those things where it's like, that's required now. Is there anything else that you've seen cyber insurance companies say, hey, we're going to give slightly better rates because XYZ?
Yeah, so we're absolutely seeing that cybersecurity insurance rates are getting lowered if they have if end users have a multi-layered approach to cybersecurity, which could hopefully be fulfilled by their managed service provider. So some cybersecurity insurance providers are requiring those end users to have your EDR, your MDR, as an endpoint security tool as opposed to your generic antivirus solution, right? They're requiring tools like email security and phishing solutions, as well as, like we said earlier, multi-factor authentication. That's pretty much becoming required now. That you won't even get cybersecurity insurance unless you have MFA enabled. And it's not just MFA enabled for one person on one device. It's MFA enabled for everybody on all devices, as well as your firewalls and switches. Because we've seen insurance claims get denied because, yeah, MFA was installed on laptops, but it wasn't installed on servers. It wasn't installed on the firewalls and the routers. And unfortunately, those claims got denied because the end user checked off very easily, yep, we have MFA on their cybersecurity insurance form, when in reality, they didn't fulfill the entire requirement or need.
Man, isn't that the worst?
Mm-hmm.
When people just say, of course we have that, and they don't.
Mm-hmm.
People these days. All right, let's talk about pricing for Evo Security.
Yeah, sure thing. So there's 3 ways that you could buy Evo Security today.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a strategic exclusive partnership with ConnectWise, so we're available through the ConnectWise marketplace for ConnectWise partners. If you have like a ConnectWise security sales rep, reached out to them. We're more than happy to sell through ConnectWise. We're also available through Solutions Granted, the master MSSP.
Oh, yeah.
They offer SOC and SIM and XDR services. They were actually the ASCII Vendor of the Year in 2021 and 2022. So we're also resold through them, which is absolutely fantastic. And last but not least, if you don't want to work with either of those vendors, we're more than happy to sell to you directly here at Evo. The only requirement is you have to be a managed service provider because we're 100% channel only. Other than that, there are no contracts. You can cancel us at any time. There's no minimum purchase. And you could choose to buy one of our products, both of our products. It's totally up to the managed service provider. From a pricing standpoint, I'll say that Evo Elevated Access is priced per technician, regardless of how many devices your technicians want to connect to as an administrator. So if they're connecting to 10 devices or 1,000 devices, the price doesn't change. It's just that per technician price point. Evo Secure Login is going to be priced per user. And the idea here is you as an MSP will buy that license and resell it to your end user customer.
Okay. And you're not going to tell me the prices, huh?
Nope, contact us because, again, because we're channel only, we don't want pricing disclosed on forums like this because we want our MSPs to have the highest margin possible. So we don't want end users watching videos like this and seeing pricing.
Okay. Do you know what your competitor standard list rate for MSP prices are?
Yeah, so for example, for multi-factor authentication, Duo right now, which does sell to end users, they list their pricing for $3 a user for their
Mm-hmm.
multi-factor authentication and single sign-on tool. I can guarantee you that no matter how you buy Evo, we are going to be less than that price.
Okay. That's at least a ballpark is at least a good starting point. I will ask that you send me over pricing. What I'd like to do is I'd like to list that in my member forum.
No
And
problem.
then I noticed that you have a special deal with the Tech Tribe. Any chance I can get something going for Rocket MSP users too?
Yeah, absolutely. So any Rocket MSP user that's utilizing this, we could give you your first 2 months of our products absolutely free. So feel free to check us out, whether you're using one of our products or both of our products, 2 months, 100% free.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick. All right. Is there anything else that you think we should cover before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it. You know, like my sales presentations, I like to keep it very, very short, sweet, and to the point, cut out all the BS. This has been fantastic, Steve. I really appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Find an engineer, like a sales engineer, and let's do another one of these where we actually demo the products because I'd love to show this off to MSPs and, you know, get you some more signups, man.
Absolutely. Let's make it happen. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.